just came from down the mountain. Going up this way is an abandoned mine. There's this interesting foundation. Don't know what it would have been used for, but it is very uniquely built. You could see where they stacked their rocks for the foundation, and then they would have had this kind of edging out. That's why they put these pieces of wood as supports, but look how they're built up. Especially this one. Just so interesting how they made this. Right above this foundation. And there's really nothing else. Going up is just a road, so I don't know what they would have used that for. Because there really is no space for a building. I'm thinking maybe an ore bin, but they wouldn't design one like that. At least I've never seen any with a foundation like that. That's very bizarre. And right carved into this mountain is the abandoned mine. Just look at the size of that portal. I don't know how far in it goes, but I'm hoping it goes somewhere. It just doesn't dead end after a couple hundred feet. We'll find out. And good news is it's so cold out. Snakes aren't really a big issue right now, because they like to hang around these portals. So look at the size of this. Is the biggest mine I have ever been to as of right now. Although seems like it came to a very quick and abrupt ending, because I think that's the face up ahead. Veering off. Have a side tunnel, let's see. Survey tape. Yeah. It's a dead end. Looking back into tunnel. Let's look at the size of this ceiling. This place is huge. Have a collapse right there. Erosion. You can see these timbers have fallen down. This collapse came from up there. So it doesn't face out. Continues. Looking back at the portal. And we continue forward. This section does get smaller, but this section is actually the size of a regular abandoned mine. Little drift going that way. Winds going down. Let's see. That doesn't go anywhere. This is just a opened up section. A lot of wood covering the winds. I'm gonna feel the wood, see how solid it is, if it's passable or not. Looking down. Hope you're not afraid of heights. The ladder just ends, like if you're to fall down that, you're not coming back out. And that faces out. Even this vertical shaft doesn't go anywhere. If you're to go down that winds, just comes to an end. So they didn't really build this any very far. I wonder why they stopped digging. You could tell looking at this section, it's this huge mine that looks like it's just been drilled out. Like they're planning on making a huge operation. And then looking this way, that operation just got smaller. Maybe they realized we're not finding what we're looking for. Let's just shrink the size of the tunnel, see if we'll have any luck. And well, it came to a dead end, so obviously it was a dud. This mine shaft doesn't go anywhere. Still very cool to be inside of it with the size of this tunnel. It's just, I don't know if the video does justice for how big this tunnel is, but it's quite an experience. Some graffiti. There's a lot of cans and stuff, alcohol bottles, whatnot, sitting outside of the mine. So this does seem like a popular place. Maybe a party spot. Back at the portal. Look at those rain clouds. Now that we had a look at that mine, let's keep going. See if we could find any other significant mines like this. I did pass a couple of them, but the only problem with looking at them was that they just weren't big enough. They were smaller than even this tunnel. They were more comparable to prospect pits. So that's why I haven't picked up the camera to film any of them. I'm going to keep looking though, because if they have a ghost town below us, obviously the mining had to be quite significant. So much for that. I thought it was going to be a mine shaft. Turns out it's just filled in. Can't enter it. I finally found a mine that might be accessible. Going upwards. Danger. Abandoned mine. Which is definitely not a accessible mine anyway. You might look at this mine and think that looks like a tunnel. You could easily go into this mine hawk defense. But if you look beneath the tunnel, there's that big old incline, which means you can't get to the tunnel unless you're to put some wood down or some timbers, and that would be insanity. I'm good off that. I was headed back down the mountain, and I decided to go up one last road that I hadn't gone up before because I totally missed it. And I'm happy I did, because I found a dynamite storage room. Look how the ceiling is reinforced. Which this room had to be very solid for dynamite. Wouldn't want it collapsing. Big hollowed out room. Got the wood pallets on the ground where the dynamite would have sat. This is by far the biggest dynamite room I have seen. This is huge. Going multiple ways. Let's see. Wiring on the ground there. I've seen those in mines before. They're like ventilation bags. I know I'm calling that the wrong thing. Somebody could correct me with what they're called. Huge open spot right there. Thought this would be one little room, but apparently it isn't. Got this section right here. Comes to a dead end. Maybe that was the blast room. Judging by this right there, the door. Because at first I thought this whole thing would be a blast room, but they have a tunnel going off that way, which we're going to have to follow. But I wasn't actually expecting a whole excursion, so I'm going to have to go get my safety equipment before heading out into the tunnel. So I'll be right back. I'm back and ready to go in. We have all these survey bags. Stoped out section up there. This mine looks relatively recent too. Really soaks up the light like. Doesn't go anywhere. Looking back at the entrance as we continue forward. Really wasn't expecting to find this, especially with all the other mines being closed off. That's why I think this might be a more recent one. Have a door right there, which was a blast room. Water pipe to the right of us, two of them. Hoses, I should say. Looking up at that second level, that's just collapsed down. That's all eroded. Let's see. So we have a ladder right there. Making sure I'm not on a false floor right now. Looking that way. And then as we continue on this way, got a ladder there. That's all collapsed in. Looking up. Let's see. Looks like that goes out to the surface. I don't think there's a level above us. Another collapsed section. Solid rock above us. As long as it's solid, I'm cool with going past. Significant airflow when you go over this collapsed in section. Okay, so tunnel continues that way. We have a drift off there. Take a quick look. Dead ends. Comes to a dead end. Two ways to go. That's collapsed. That leads to where we were looking. So we go right. Which might come to a dead end. I wonder how old these survey markers. Got a vein right there. Look at that. Looks like they're getting at it. And this faces out. All that rock's been built up there. Probably use that as a storage for some of the waste rock so we wouldn't have to bring it back to the outside. Now taking the main tunnel once again. Continuing forward. Bottle right there. That doesn't go anywhere. Have some timbering. Let's see. Rays going up. Likely to the surface, I assume. Or cart tracks on this side. This mine was flooded at one point. Sure as hell not going in there. Dead ends. Ore chute right there. Wow. Check this out, guys. Look up that ore chute. That's really something. That's been backfilled. Looks like it dead ends anyway. And it faces out. Okay, let's get out of here. One neat thing about this ore chute is usually when I see them, they're plugged up. Like when I did that video with Pin into Atlas, Steven and Andrea, we went to a abandoned mine and it had a couple of ore chutes in it, and each one was plugged with rock. And every other mine I've seen, the ore chutes have always been plugged up. This one is different because it's a completely open one. Old style can. Let's look at the opening on it. Wasn't that a trip? I wanted to get in an abandoned mine at this ghost town, and I finally did. Look at that, it's sunny out. I feel rain coming down. What a perfect way to end off this expedition to this abandoned ghost town. What an unexpected way too. I honestly thought we wouldn't get into any abandoned mines today, just because all the mines we looked at before, they were all vertical shafts except for one, but that one didn't even go in that far. That was awesome. An abandoned mine. Now let's get back down and see if we could find anything else. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. This was part 2 of a 2-video series where we explore the entire ghost town. I could officially say we've seen this entire canyon now. That's great. Another place marked on the map and another place done. If you haven't already, check out part 1 where I checked out the entire ghost town and the cemetery. The part you just seen was the mines. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video and comment down below. Thank you.